Hello and welcome to Stretford, Paddock. My name is Joe, that is Jay, that is Steve, and we are here to talk about Manchester United's new proposed structure post Jim Ratcliffe takeover.
Is it going to be a good one?
It's going to be, well...
That'll be a different one,
Well, that's what we want to talk to you about, Steve, because me and Jay have talked about this a lot, but we know, obviously, you have your opinions, you have your thoughts on these things, quite famously so.
It's been known.
So the proposed structure, and we're going to go through each sort of chapter of this, piece by piece, is... There's rumours of a Jim Ratcliffe, Joel Glazer and Dave Brailsford sort of head of football department.
Shit stag do.
So let's start from the top then. Obviously, we already know Joel Glazer. I don't think we need to talk about...
But also, what the hell does he do?
Well, exactly. Not a lot. If he does,
seems like
it's
he
not
just
good.
Vetoes ideas.
Yeah.
Like selling them.
Which presumably he's still going to keep the power to do that. But coming into that sort of top level area is Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford. Obviously, Dave Brailsford, famous for his work at the British cycling team, sort of revolutionising how things are approached with the marginal gain stuff and potentially, marginal drugs, allegedly. What do you make of that as a sort of overarching head of football at Manchester United?
It's better than the fuck all that we've got now, I guess. Yeah. I would presume it's better than the fuck all we've got now. It's very much job advice. I like Darren Fletcher. Yeah. I think he's great. He's someone that always stops and chats to us. I think he's very genuine. Yeah. And I think he genuinely wants the best for Manchester United in whatever capacity it is that he does. But I would feel much warmer and fuzzier inside if Darren Fletcher had gone and had the same sort of CV any of the people that we're trying to bring in had on top of what he did for Manchester United on the pitch. This as your first job. You shouldn't be getting Manchester United as a first job. No. And the same goes for John Murtaugh. How'd you go from being someone in charge of the academy from an admin point of view, realistically, to now, do you think you can go and negotiate hundreds of millions of pounds a season with the critical time window that you have competing against others? It's so unlike regular business. And I know he was involved in football beforehand, but he's not done that job. That job to me is all about who you know. Yeah. And I don't know who he knows.
No,
I agree.
So just again, coming from the top down, does it bother you that we're getting someone from a sort of cycling and sports background rather than a football background in Dave Brailsford? Because that's been the one knock on him is he's not done this job before.
But he's not. He's coming as part of there's a quartet of people supposedly coming with him. He has come from something though. Has he not been involved in what happened at Nice?
He has, but he's done it there. But again, not for such a long time.
Last I checked, that was a football club.
Okay, fair enough.
The one that sort of struck me, and this is, I'm sure you've probably done about 4 videos on him, this is why. It was like someone I thought, okay, I keep hearing that name and I've heard him being mentioned online and you spoke about him and obviously, people have been eager for us to have someone like this come in, and he seems to have a really good CV. It's Paul Mitchell.
About 5 years ago, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I remember you talking about him, and when you look at what he's been involved in, the success in terms of transfers and stuff and structures of clubs, it looks like he's someone who almost, for me, and by all means correct me if I'm wrong, falls into the best in class category, which I think has been missing at United. Is that overstating it, or is he that good?
No, I think he's in that. I think he's in that wheelhouse. To be honest with you, I think what he did at MK Dons saw the most success that they'd sort of had on the pitch. Where are Southampton now? He had him and Pochettino, but it was his signings, his talent ID, bringing in the likes of Mane and some of the others that they had around that time. Southampton had this reputation while he was there. Is it a coincidence while he was there that they had this great academy that was producing all sorts of stuff at that time? But there was also signing some great players that they were then moving on for a lot of money. And at the time, they brought in a manager that fit their style of play and their philosophies. And he had them finishing 6th and 7th, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at the club's performances pre and post what he did, there's an inflection every time he goes to somewhere. Tottenham Hotspur right now look like they're getting close to, but it's been, 12 games?
Yeah.
Getting close to what he sort of achieved when he was at Tottenham. Like, hell of a coincidence that every single place he's gone, there's been an inflection in performance. Recruitment has been good. Performances on the pitch have been good. Good managers have been found. There's this inflection of everything kind of going right. If it's all luck, I'll take a bit of that luck at the moment.
Yeah. That's the big one, isn't it? That I think I want to talk about Jean-Claude Blanc as well, because I feel like he's the least well-known of these people. But like some of the players that they've identified, some of the successes in signings that, we were doing a video before about, United's flops, and there seems to be, as the years have gone on, more flops than not. Like Mane and Tadic for Southampton, and Alderweireld, Dele Alli, Heung-min Son, who's still Tottenham's best player now. Kieran Trippier, Konate at Leipzig, Konrad Laimer, who's now playing for Bayern Munich and signed for Leipzig.
That would do all right, I reckon.
Yeah, and Kunku for Leipzig. Like some of the people that he's brought in. And United don't have a list of successes like that over the same period. And a lot of those players would have been good for United. People say, it's a big difference between X and Y. Almost all of those.
Premier League last decade.
Almost all of those would get a game for Man United.
Alderweireld.
Yeah. Heung-min Son, he'd be probably our best player this season. Like I know he has ups and downs, but like almost all those players would still get in the United side.
Yeah, of course.
So do you don't question that jump in quality? You think that's... You don't worry about, Leipzig and Man United.
No, but Leipzig isn't Man United, no. And that's a valid point. But, I think they've had a bit more success than us in Europe. Certainly relative success than us in Europe lately. I think they've qualified for the Champions League as much as we have lately. So what's Manchester United done for us? Yeah. I know they're doing it whilst having a business model that allows them to sell their talents off constantly as well. Usually at Chelsea.
I know it's like almost impossible to know, but what's your gut telling you about this structure with this manager? This manager who's pretty much had what players you want.
I worry that they want a new train set.
Right.
The most dangerous time for any manager is new ownership. Now this isn't new ownership yet, unfortunately, but it is new football ownership in a way, where new decisions will be made. And I think the best thing that Sir Jim and whoever else is involved in this could do is to come out, one, address the fans, because the Glazers don't talk to the fans. So be different like that. Separate. He's going to have to really walk a tightrope, and some fans are going to lose the melon over this, but the ones with a brain will get this. That he can't come out and be like, right, I'm here, we'll get rid of these pricks eventually. He's got to do business with them. They're still 75% or whatever it is of the club. So he can't just immediately start slagging them off. But he could do some things where he does things a little bit differently, where he comes in and goes, they don't talk, I'll talk. And I think if he came out and said, we're 100% behind Ten Hag, he doesn't need to worry, we're going to create a better structure for him. Or even if he has to be a bit more political than that, because we know they're a little bit highly strung, and they might not, like...
You've got to be careful on how you use words better, improve.
Yeah.
It looks like you're slagging them off, so it's going to say...
refresh everything.
Yeah,
and
find success. Stuff like that.
Yeah. So he's going to have to, but I think he needs to come out and put Ten Hag at ease, and just publicly and privately. I think privately have a brew with him and be like, listen, you're going fucking nowhere, because I think he'll be worried, and I don't think you can perform at your best if you're thinking, this new guy's not having me or anything like that. So I think he needs to have that reassurance that he's going to be still there and get to see through this plan, but then go and listen to him as well and go, right, what do you really need? And then go, okay, well, privately we've sort of discussed a little bit this ourselves. We align on these things, not sure on this one, and then get him and Paul Mitchell in an office with a whiteboard and some markers and figure out what does this team look like over the next 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And if they can sort of align like that, then he might be able to go, chop Jadon Sancho, sell him. This youngster, well, no, we're not going to sign anyone for that, because we think, Mainoo's going out on loan and he's coming back to the first team. If he doesn't, we've got this guy lined up as we might. That is a plan. And that plan is happening at clubs. There's no one even thought about that plan at Manchester United. We crack our fingers on the 1st of July and go, right then.
Yeah, we
go. Got George Mendes' number?
Yeah, let's wait till the season starts. If we look good, we won't buy anyone. If we look shit, we'll panic.
We'll buy everyone.
Yeah,
we'll spend 130 million on Casemiro and Antony or whatever it was. We've lost.
The final piece of this potential puzzle is Jean-Claude Blanc, who again has been mentioned, and probably the least well known, certainly in England, of these people, because obviously Brailsford, Team GB, Paul Mitchell, Southampton, MK Dons, Tottenham. Jean-Claude Blanc, his CV is astonishing, by the way, right? This is according to Wikipedia. Blanc is one of the most experienced sports marketing executives in Europe. Now, he would be the CEO role, so slightly less hands-on with the football, but obviously influencing the football side. In Europe, having led organisations in different major sports over the last 20 years, right? So he has managed the following. The Olympics, just managed the Olympics. The Tour de France.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
The Paris-Dakar, the motor racing, the French Open, the Davis Cup, and has been the chairman of Juventus Football Club. He also, I think, worked at PSG as well.
He was like marketing director. He was the one that oversaw their Jordan brand deal.
Yeah, it was.
Which was mental. That was actually a cultural
in terms
shift.
of putting them on the map, in terms of fashion and 100%. As a brand, it was huge. But like, he's managed the Tour de France, the Olympic. That is an unreal CV.
I think it's fair to say he knows sport.
Yes,
and possibly sports marketing and probably sports monetizing.
Yeah. On a big scale as well. If he's done some of the things he's done.
He's not with the corruption if the Olympics are involved.
Yeah. He's not going to come in and
allegedly.
Be like, fair enough.
But do you think he could turn around? Because obviously you're looking at him more for turning around the finances, getting these big sponsorship deals, making United an iconic brand, which isn't what we want as fans, but we have to accept that's what football is.
Do you know what? Like, Martin Edwards got a hell of a lot of shit for that, but him and was it Irving Scholar?
That
Tottenham?
name rings a bell, yeah, but
you
know more about it than I do. You spoke to him.
Tottenham Hotspur. Am I right? Google it. Irving Scholar.
That name rings
Tottenham
a bell,
Hotspur.
but I can't be sure if I'm thinking of the right reasons.
They were
noted for his time as chairman of Tottenham and director at Nottingham Forest.
Nailed it. Those guys were involved in the creation of the Premier League, and one of the reasons for the creation of the Premier League was there was all sorts of different stuff like your gate receipts. Do you know that you see a lot of reported attendances in the 80s being really, really bad, but the TV actually looks like it was really well. I think there was a little bit of under-declaring going down because you had to split with the opposition and the FA. And that was one of the things, like, because on the face of things, as a 8-9-year-old at the time when the Premier League comes in, super new, super whatever, futuristic, the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing. Why is it different? Why is it different? Well, a lot of the reason it was different was this. The governance was different. The split with the Football League and the FA, they basically went, we ain't doing that, fuck you, right? The ability to sell TV rights in the manner that they did, all of that was what was new. It was an entirely commercial move. Irving Scholar, Martin Edwards were massive, massive drivers behind that. Irving Scholar took Tottenham, one of the biggest ones, David Dean, Arsenal, massive, Alan Sugar, massive, behind all of this lot. And the reason for a lot of that, did you know, how long has half-time been? 15 minutes?
I don't know.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I mean, in my head, I'm thinking 100 years.
I'm going to guess from what you're saying, 92, 93?
No. But it's late 80s.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head.
What was it before that?
10.
Right.
They really pushed for a 15-minute half-time so people can go and buy a drink.
You got time to queue up and get one.
But there's all of these things that they actually wanted longer. There's all of these things where these are the things that have impacted our game because they saw, basically they went and watched the NFL and went,
it's very American, isn't it?
This is what we need to bring in. Now, they've not actually brought all of those things here, but they brought a massive amount of those things here. And whether we like it or not, you do need those suits to drive the game forward. I think all of us would agree the Premier League from the Football League, in hindsight, was probably a great move. I would say. I think a net win, right?
Yeah.
There's been negatives to it. There's been positives to it. I say net win. You need those people that are going to come in and challenge it like that. And I think there's all sorts of things in terms of like monetizing a football club in terms of the subscription side of things that they could do. We've mentioned this so many times, like a Netflix of Manchester United.
Yeah.
Like imagine just getting an email on the anniversary of, I don't know, say the Cup Win, and I'm going, clear your diary, because tonight you're watching United Wrexham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Here's Montpellier. Like, but it's just there, and you've got the app. It's on your telly. Boom. Why is there not a United TV app? Like on Amazon. Like on Amazon Prime Video. When I go on my TV, there's an app there, and I can go, tonight, Mrs. has pied us, so we are watching the fucking treble season. Let's go. You know what I mean? We're finishing one way or another.
Yeah. And do you think that he can bring some of that then.
Of course, that's what I expect.
Yeah.
Whether it's Amazon, whether it's Apple TV, someone somewhere, you can't tell me that there isn't enough. And do you know what? Maybe United solo aren't big enough. Maybe not. But maybe that conglomerate of Super League clubs, maybe there's something you can do as that conglomerate where you sell a collective back catalogue. Call it some fucking wank, I'm sure. But there's the back catalogue to all those games. Or why haven't UEFA got one? Imagine some of the rides you'd be able to go on. Champions League, 93, 94, let's fucking go. Like, where is that? Like, we have so much, and this is just the on-field content. I would love to go back and watch fucking Stephen Keys and Gray from 1993. How fucking cool would that be? Someone somewhere's got those tapes. Yeah. Put it on demand. Yeah. I'll watch it, and I'm probably not on my own in terms of I'd watch it. No. So there's revolution in terms of TV that I think can be made. There's revolution in terms of a lot of different things. I think people are looking in weird areas. I think they're trying to do VR, which maybe that's good, maybe that's not bad. I've seen that they're trying to trial it in basketball where they've got these sort of 360 cameras at courtside where you can buy a VR season ticket and sit there and like look around the stadium and basically be pitchside for a live game. I'll probably do it once just to see what it's like. I don't know if I would experience like the games I'm not going to like that. It's a bit mad.
Might make you feel a bit sick.
But, you know, all of these innovations aren't happening around Manchester United. No. And I did a live earlier where someone goes, they've managed the financial side very well. I lost Melon a little bit because nobody fucking haven't. No. Because all of these innovations I don't see at Manchester United. It took us fucking how long to get an app? Yeah. It was on about the 15th iPhone before we got a fucking app. I know. So I think having a sports marketing guy like that, imagine how big Air Jordan times Manchester United would be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like the Jordan thing, that PSG kit was worn by everyone. Rappers, kids, people who have nothing to do with football, American people. Like you get in the American brand PSG.
American people, normal people.
20, who's that, Pep Guardiola? 20 years ago, no one had heard of PSG outside of France. And now they're one of the biggest brands in the world. Yeah.
And it's that, whether you like that or not, what that will do for their pulling power for sponsors, unfathomable. Which means they then get to sign players. Because of the FFP thing now, you get to do mad things with you have to have that income to want the signings. So guess what? If you want the sexy signings, you got to have a better app. Yeah. You got to have more penetration for the market. Like, I fucking hate that Manchester United continue to this day use a 15-year-old outdated study of whatever many thousand people it was that they extrapolated out to the entire fucking global population, where they went, who recognises this logo? Yeah. And then they went, well, there's all the United fans in the world. No, Liverpool fans recognise the United logo. City fans, both of them recognise the United logo. You're like, Arsenal fans recognise the United logo. Barcelona fans recognise the United logo. You can't tell me a fucking tenth of Earth are United fans. Because if you do, then I tell you, as the CEO of that club that's got the most fans in the world, you're not even getting a fucking pound per person out of all of those people worldwide. That's horrendous. Because there's a lot of us are spending thousands more than that. Yeah. So where's the money coming from? It's not enough.
So overall then...
Dallas Cowboys got about fucking 22,000 fans or something. Shit in cash.
Overall, are you optimistic? Are you positive? Do you think that this structure, as we've laid it out there, and obviously if that changes, we'll get into that, but as it is there, do you think that's a structure that can be successful at United?
I'm on the fence because I don't think there'll be true success until they've gone. Yeah. And I think everything is under the cloud of, like, they've got a new football structure. But you don't give them a pot to piss in. Yeah. What are you going to get? I know. And we're getting to the stage now where... So Jim's about to dig into his pocket more in the first week of being here, potentially, than the Glazers have in the last 18 years. Mental, right? And he only owns 25% of the gaff. How does that work? How do you buy in and then throw in? Like, are we all not throwing? No, just me. All right, cool. So he's going to then shell in, and that's going straight to just to fucking give the stadium a bit of a baby wipe, innit?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. I mean, it's hopefully going to be the first stage in a lot more investment. There's reports that he's going to invest.
How much does that stadium need? I mean, look at what Real Madrid are just doing. Barcelona are just fucking pulling a new camp down. Barcelona are $1 billion in fucking debt.
I know, man.
And they're like, knock the gaff down.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Pull another lever. Be great.
Right, that's going to be all. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for watching at home. This has been Manchester United's potential new structure, analysed and explained, and we'll see you in a bit.